So let's talk about capturing lightning. Lightning is one of my favorite things to get photographs of. Now, during the daytime, it's completely different because you don't get photos of lightning, you get video of lightning, and then you go back and you pick those frames out. The Canon 70D is actually not very good at capturing lightning during the day because of the whole rolling shutter thing. So this is what it looks like. The number one thing to keep in mind when capturing lightning is to stay safe. You want to be safe. I can't say that enough. Don't ever, ever, ever try to get a photo if it means it might take your life. There's no point for you to ever put yourself in that position. So make sure that you stay safe. Number one, right there. Right now I have lightning going crazy like all around me. There's actually a tornado back in there, but I'm safe because it's moving more this direction. So always be aware of the direction that your storm is going. Number two thing to keep in mind is you want to have a camera that can take long exposure shots. So if you're taking pictures of lightning at nighttime, that's the best time to get lightning. And what you do is you get a camera that can take long exposure shots. So like I'm using the Canon 70D. Of course it's daytime right now, but well, that's completely different. So at nighttime, your shot's gonna look like this. Now, how do you capture that? Do you just sit there and hold the tripod steady and just wait for the shot? No, you can't do that, that's impossible. So what you do is you put your camera on a long exposure setting. Now, of course, if you're gonna be taking any type of long exposure setting, what are you gonna want? You're gonna want a tripod. So I recently just got the Manfrotto 190 Go tripod with the Manfrotto 502 head. I think it's 502, I hope it is. It's a video head, but it's also very stable for still photography. So at nighttime, you're gonna want a tripod, or you're gonna want to put your camera on something that's gonna keep it still. I'm using a lot of hand motions right now, and I don't know why. Now, typically the best location to be in, lightning right above me. We'll continue this in my car. Woo! That was loud and scary. And there's another one right above me. All right, so we're in my car now because, as you noticed, there was some lightning right above my head. I could actually hear, I was standing underneath some telephone lines because I'm really smart. I could hear it in the telephone lines. I could hear the lightning before I could even hear the actual thunder crack. So that was exciting. That was literally right above my head. But let's continue this. So what you also want to make sure that you have is a remote shutter. Unless you want to be taking pictures, you know, one after the other, which is fine. You can do that. But it gets a little annoying. Make sure that you have a remote shutter that you can just put on a timer as if you're capturing a time lapse, and then you won't have to worry about it. You can stay inside your car, which is a little bit safer than just sitting outside. Obviously, you don't want to get struck by lightning at all. You don't want lightning near you. Lightning can really hurt. So make sure that you're just being as safe as possible. Make sure you also have a radar popped up on your phone or tablet or laptop or whatever you have. If you have a way to hook up your desktop, I'm just kidding. But seriously, make sure you have a radar. That's going to be very important. That way you can always watch the storm and see exactly where it is. So as far as the camera settings are concerned, what I typically have is an exposure setting or a shutter speed of about 30 seconds, as long as I can. I want it to be capturing a photo for as long as possible so that I don't have any possibility of missing out on capturing any lightnings. Strikes. Golly, I can't like even stay focused with all the lightning strikes happening around me. And I know you heard that one. I also have an aperture setting of anywhere from 5.6 to 11. You don't need to let in too much light. So I also have the ISO setting anywhere from 100 to 400, just depending on how far away the lightning is, how bright the lightning is, and how dark the night is. So basically, if you were to be in the middle of the night and take a picture with those settings, what you would come up with is a completely black photo. Because, you know, there's no light there to illuminate the photo. So as soon as the lightning strike goes right through the picture, that's whenever you get these types of shots. The lightning is so bright that you have to have these settings, a high aperture and a low ISO, which is going to be a dark photo. But Like I said, lightning is really bright, so that's the only way to really get those shots. Lastly is editing lightning shots, which isn't too difficult. There's not really too much to do except maybe color correct if you want it to look a specific way. Lightning is pretty easy to edit, but we'll go ahead and show you exactly how to do that. So let's go home. All right, so we're now back in my house, and if you notice, my hair is cut because this isn't the same day as what you just saw. Deception runs deep in this video. So editing lightning photos, like I said, does not take very long. So this won't take very long at all to show you guys. But I would like for you to just take a look at a couple of these photos that I've taken in the past. This one is one that I got just 2 nights ago. And I'm telling you, capturing lightning, the most magical part of capturing lightning is actually being out there capturing the lightning. When you come back in and you edit it and you see it on the big screen, yeah, it's amazing, but standing in front of the storm as it's coming towards you and capturing those lightning strikes as they happen and seeing it in person, nothing compares to seeing it in person. However, getting photos is amazing because a lot of people don't understand how to do it. So this video, of course, is to help you learn how to do that. But let's go ahead and dive on in to editing lightning photos. Okay, so the photo that we are going to be going with is this one here. I took this photo a long time ago, and it's still to this day one of my favorite ones. The reason being, you can see lightning bolts, and you can also see stars. Absolutely gorgeous. So this is what the photo, this is the raw photo. This is what we're going to make it look like, or somewhere around there. Now actually this edited version, now that I know a little bit more about editing, I don't like how much blue there is, so we're gonna fix that, and I'm gonna show you how. So this is the original photo, very underexposed in certain areas, you notice. But also it's perfectly exposed for the lightning bolts because you can actually see the bolts, which is awesome. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make some lens corrections because I do not like seeing this chromatic aberration. I don't even know if you can tell on the computer, see how close I get to the camera. I don't even know if you can tell, but there is a red line right at the horizon. There's also a red line beside the lightning bolt. So we're gonna remove chromatic aberration and voila, there it goes, it's gone. So it makes a huge difference to somebody who is used to seeing it. If you're not used to like even seeing it and you've never even noticed it before, it takes a while to get used to, but once you start noticing it, it feels like you need like eye corrective surgery or corrective eye surgery. I don't know, whatever. So I went ahead and pressed or clicked on enable profile corrections, and it picked the lens that I was using, which was the kit lens, the 18 to 55 f3.5. This picture was actually taken at ISO 100 at 18 millimeters f3.5, and it was a 25-second exposure. So see, notice if I would have had this at ISO 400, it would have looked more like that, which means all this would have been blown out, which could have been saved by lowering the highlights, and now we're back to almost the original. But because I underexposed it, I'm gonna be able to see a lot more detail. See what I'm saying? That's the difference there. So let's go ahead and do this. Now I could bump the whole picture. I could do this and do what I just did right there, and that actually doesn't look too bad, but that adds a little bit too much noise, a little bit more noise than I'd like. So I am gonna lower these highlights a little bit just to get more detail out of these brighter areas. But if you notice this, the histogram, incredibly dark. Everything's to the left. So we're gonna up these shadows just a tad, but not too much, but we're gonna up these blacks. Now, when the whole picture, this is where the whole picture brightens up. We're going to click on whites and hold Option or Alt on a PC. We're gonna drag it until we see this area. Now I know this is a bolt, so of course it's overexposed, it's a lightning bolt, but this red that's right there, I don't want that to be too overexposed. So already we've been able to make those changes there. Now it's still a little underexposed, so this is where I'm going to up the exposure just a tad. And go ahead and add a little bit more contrast, just a tad bit. Now, when it comes to clarity, there is a time and place for clarity, and I feel like lightning photos is a great place to up the clarity. And the reason being, I think storms are harsh. This lightning struck something, it burned something. So I think clarity also is harsh. When you up clarity, it makes pictures look harsh. So we're gonna do this to make it look even more harsh and scary. And notice this foreground has a lot of orange. I couldn't tell you, it's been so long, I couldn't tell you where that orange was coming from. There's a possibility since I was so new to photography that I kept my headlights on, which I don't like to do. So we're gonna take out that orange, but not too much because there's some orange in the clouds that I don't want to take out. But you notice this grass is now more green, and I'm actually gonna up this green, the saturation, and make it a little bit more, there we go. Actually, let's get this yellow, turn it more green, and up that saturation. So now that foreground, this tall grass that's right here blowing in the wind, it is green instead of that nasty looking orange. Now there's also this pinkish red that's in there that I don't like. So I'm gonna get rid of that, and I'm gonna get rid of this purple. And there's this red as well to get rid of. Look at that, that's what I like. That's what I like it to look like. Blue sky, white clouds with grays, different shades of grays, not 50 shades of gray, but different shades of gray. Probably shouldn't have said that. Anyway, so this is how I like my lightning photos to look. And if you notice, there's even still color in the stars. There's orange, blue, there's some purples in there and stuff. So we do still have that color, which is awesome. So this is one of my favorite new tools that I just started using for photography. It's the color tools. You can go through each color and get rid of certain colors. If you notice in certain photos that have a lot of shadows, that means they have a lot of blue. If you don't want to have to make the bright areas too orange, you can just get rid of all the blues and then you're fine. We'll talk more about that in the future, but I just discovered using this and how much easier it makes your life than trying to set white balance here. I like setting my white balance here now. But we are going to go ahead and reduce some noise. So actually, let's focus on this sky right here. I don't even know if you can notice or if you can tell, but there's a bunch of graininess. I want to clean that up. So we're gonna go to 20. Well, it went to 19, but that's fine. So we cleaned it up just a tad, but not too much. But I don't want to go any more because I don't want to lose that clarity that we just set. We just upped the clarity, and if I had too much luminance, then that clarity is gone. So that's fine. Most of the people are going to see that I don't plan on blowing this photo up. But here's how I'm going to reduce the noise here because there's a lot more. I am going, whoa. Oh yeah, I have the exposure turned up on this so I can see exactly what I'm selecting. All right. So I'm actually going to take the noise out of the foreground here by using that. And that is, I didn't mean to go all the way up to 100. I don't know what I'm thinking, because now that just looks like watercolor painting. There we go. So that reduced some of that noise there so it doesn't look as nasty. I also, oh yeah, blue, sorry. Get rid of that yellow even more by putting some blue in there. Bam, so that's looking a lot better. Now here's something that I don't like in my photography, my landscape photography in particular. I don't like seeing lights in the distance. I don't like seeing telephone lines in the distance. I don't like seeing anything that shows that there's civilization around. I like my I like my landscape photos to look like I was in the middle of nowhere, hundreds of miles away from anybody else. Sometimes I'm not even, but just right off the highway, but still I want to get rid of that. So I could do this in Photoshop, which usually I would, but if you don't have Photoshop, you just have Lightroom, you can always use this tool to get rid of, well, it's gonna replace those lights with that light. I'm just gonna drag that, replace it with right there. But anyway, so I got rid of those lights down there. I just think it makes all the difference. As far as dehazing, adding a vignette, I don't want a vignette at all. But I will tell you one more thing that I'm gonna do to clean up this photo. I notice a lot of nasty color noise up there. I'm gonna up this to 50% and try to get rid of some of that. It's still there a little bit, but not as bad. So that is the photo that we just edited. Doesn't look too bad. So there's the import. Notice all the orange, all the dark spots, and we changed it completely. So that is the process. I promise you, I draw these videos out where I'm showing you how to edit, but it really isn't that bad. It wouldn't have taken me but maybe 3 minutes to edit this, if even that. It's not as intense as, you know, sunset photos that, you know, you want to make just look perfect, but lightning photos already look pretty much perfect whenever you load them onto the computer. So I hope that you guys learned something. You know, lightning is one of the most fun things to capture, but it can be one of the most dangerous. So don't ever forget these rules over here. Right? Were they to my right? Yeah, to my right. Don't ever forget these rules here. These are very important rules to remember because it'll help keep you safe, but it'll also allow you to get some of the best looking photos that you can get. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go back to taking photos of other things because I think we're gonna be in a dry spell for a while. But like always, if you learned something, then please hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe and share this video with anybody that you know might want to learn how to do some lightning photos. I guarantee you some people don't even realize that they have that ability, that there's things out there that allow them to capture that. So yeah, like I said, hope you liked it. I'll catch you guys later.